This woman silently rose toward the center of a dark lake carrying a body hidden beneath heavy plastic sheets. Fireworks explode above, illuminating her frightened face for brief moments as she freezes anxiously scanning the shore. Someone must never discover her secret. Breath held tightly, she slips into the chilling water, gripping the corpse submerged beneath the boat, waiting desperately for the strangers celebrating nearby to leave. Tonight's actions will trigger a terrifying chain reaction, dragging her deeper into a vortex of deception, betrayal, and violence. Who is the dead man beneath the sheets? What did this woman do? And how far will she go to bury the truth forever? Kate had lost the person she loved most, and now lived in isolation on the scenic Rising Fruit farm. Her only companions were 2 horses and memories of her same-sex partner. One day, a neighbor responsible for maintenance informed Kate that the warehouse roof had sagged. The beams could collapse at any moment. To replace them all with asphalt shingles would cost around $9,000. Kate was stunned upon hearing the amount. She didn't have that kind of money. After some hesitation, she approached her ex-wife Richard, who was a lawyer. Strictly speaking, the farm was joint property, so Kate hoped Richard would help pay for the repairs. But Richard never wanted the farm in the first place. He suggested Kate sell it if she couldn't manage to run it profitably. Richard made it clear he wouldn't keep pouring money into a failing business. Kate stubbornly refused to let go. Richard felt helpless and handed her a check first. He also reminded his ex-wife to pay attention to their daughter Claire. Claire had shown up at his door at 3 a.m. last week, waking everyone up just to ask for money. Spoiling Claire by giving in to her demands would only make things worse. Kate returned to the farm, feeling troubled. Suddenly, the pet dog started barking loudly. Kate instantly knew Claire had arrived since the dog only barked when her daughter showed up. Kate expressed her concern and asked Claire why she hadn't answered her phone lately. "Your phone is new, so it can't be broken already." Claire casually explained that she had gone to the beach with some friends last week. During their wild partying, her boyfriend Ryan threw her phone into the sea, but I've already gotten my revenge. Claire logged into her mother's tablet and checked her messages. Sure enough, Ryan had sent a series of angry texts. Before leaving, Claire had taken all his clothes and thrown them off the 21 bridges. In just a few sentences, the image of a rebellious teenage girl was vividly depicted. Only a few minutes later, Claire began pestering her mother for a new phone. Forgetting Richard's warning about not spoiling the child, Kate immediately took Claire to buy a new phone. While shopping, Claire kept scratching her arm repeatedly. Kate became worried Claire might have relapsed into drug use again. Claire swore to her mother that she hadn't touched drugs recently. Except for these small incidents, the mother and daughter enjoyed a warm time together. However, one night their peace was disrupted when someone violently banged on the front door. Claire opened it and saw Ryan standing there, angrily accusing her of stealing his bag. Ryan warned her that if Claire didn't return the stolen goods immediately, Jackie would soon come looking for trouble. Kate, who had been waiting anxiously in the living room, faintly heard arguing outside. Concerned that Claire might be in trouble, she went out to see what was going on. Claire didn't explain anything and quickly ran off. It wasn't until late that night that Claire finally returned home. She looked weak and exhausted, clearly having taken drugs. Kate desperately wanted to know what had happened, but every time she brought up the events of the previous night, Claire would shut down and refuse to speak. Later, mother and daughter went to the beach, each carrying their own heavy thoughts. Nearby, a young mother was busy running back and forth to help her child collect buckets of toys. After about 15 trips, she couldn't help but ask Kate if raising children would become easier as they grew up. Kate didn't have the heart to tell her that parenting never really became easier. For the 1,000th time, Kate brought up the idea of Claire returning to school. She had recently found a community college offering creative writing courses. Kate remembered Claire had a talent for storytelling and hoped she might give it a try. Unfortunately, every time Kate brought up this topic, Claire showed strong resistance. That same afternoon, Jackie finally appeared at their doorstep. Jackie angrily accused Claire of throwing away his goods by mistake. He aggressively confronted Claire, threatening violence without hesitation. Hearing the dog barking furiously, Kate, who was listening to audio messages with headphones, finally realized something was wrong. She rushed out shouting at Jackie and warned him that she would call the police if he didn't leave immediately. Jackie responded with an ultimatum, demanding Claire either return the stolen drugs or repay him with money. Only after Jackie left did Claire finally confess to her mother that she had accidentally discarded drugs belonging to Jackie. What made things even worse was that later that same evening, Claire reconciled with her troublesome boyfriend Ryan. Kate desperately wanted Ryan gone, but Claire insisted they were leaving together soon to go camping for a few days. She then asked Kate for some money to buy food and supplies. Of course, Kate knew her daughter was lying. She feared that as soon as Claire got the money, she would immediately spend it on drugs. The two argued hysterically until Kate locked Claire outside the house. Frustrated, Kate told Claire directly that she had no money left. Claire had already emptied all her savings, forcing her to ask Richard for help just to fix the barn roof. Claire decided to push things further and threatened her mother that if she didn't hand over the money, she and Ryan would take Kate's dog away and abandon it somewhere far from home. Horrified, Kate immediately opened the door to protect her dog. Unexpectedly, Claire attacked her mother, grabbing Kate's hair and violently smashing her head against the wall. Ryan, who stood nearby witnessing the scene, felt deeply disturbed by Claire's cruelty. He could barely recognize her as a daughter. Claire left with Ryan without any remorse, leaving Kate heartbroken and devastated at home. Fortunately, the next day, Kate's friend Mary came over to check on her. Mary's presence was like a ray of sunshine, temporarily dispersing the heavy clouds weighing on Kate's heart. Mary quickly realized her friend was in a terrible state and decided to stay the night. They chatted, drank, and laughed late into the evening. However, after Mary left early the next morning, Kate once again fell into deep loneliness. She spent her days immersed in beautiful yet painful memories, but even this fragile peace was soon shattered. One rainy night, Claire suddenly appeared soaking wet and shivering uncontrollably. Sobbing, she told Kate that Ryan was dead. Apparently, during their camping trip, the two argued fiercely about the missing drugs. Claire lost control and shoved Ryan. He fell down a slope and hit his head on a rock. Initially shocked, Kate believed they should inform the police. After all, Claire had only pushed him unintentionally. But Claire suddenly changed her story, confessing she had actually hit Ryan with a rock. She claimed she hadn't intended to kill him. Kate was utterly speechless at how much trouble her daughter could create. Fortunately, based on Claire's description, no one else had witnessed the incident. Kate knew she couldn't allow her daughter to go to jail. Her priority became disposing of Ryan's body. She instructed Claire to remove all her clothes and place them in a bag. She then firmly ordered Claire to remain inside her room and wait for her return. Kate then went out into the heavy rain and opened the back door of Claire's car. Ryan's body was neatly wrapped in plastic sheeting. The job had been done surprisingly cleanly. Kate dragged the body onto a small boat, tied a heavy rock onto it, and loaded everything onto her farm's truck. While driving, Kate stopped halfway to smash Ryan's phone and throw it away. Eventually, she reached Marsh Creek Lake and dragged the boat carrying Ryan's corpse into the water. She rowed desperately toward the middle of the lake. Just as Kate prepared to push the body into the water, she was startled by a group of young people setting off fireworks near the shore. Losing her balance, she fell into the cold lake. Kate struggled to stay submerged underwater until the group finally left. Only then did she carefully climb back onto the boat. Upon returning home, Kate spent hours cleaning up all the traces in the truck. It wasn't until dawn that she finally had the chance to remove her wet clothes and take a hot shower. After the tension subsided, Kate broke down emotionally, but when facing her daughter, she knew she had to remain calm. Kate assured Claire that everything had been handled properly. To avoid future trouble, she suggested rehearsing their statements carefully. They would claim that Ryan had returned to the farm with Claire on the camping night. After an argument witnessed by Kate, Ryan stormed out in anger. Claire didn't understand why Kate included Ryan visiting their home in their story. Kate explained carefully that since Claire had brought Ryan's phone back with her, the police would find evidence indicating his presence at the farm. In the following days, Claire revealed to her mother that Jackie had confronted her at the store. He had held a gun under her chin, threatening to kill her. Jackie kept aggressively asking Claire for the drugs or money. Left with no choice, Kate gave Jackie the check originally intended to repair the barn roof. She cashed it out and handed him the money, hoping Jackie would stop harassing Claire. Eventually, things seemed to settle down. Until one day after work, Kate discovered Claire had disappeared again. Unable to reach her daughter, Kate was filled with anxiety. Every night she relived the horrifying experience of disposing of Ryan's body. The sensation of suffocating underwater constantly haunted her. Kate suddenly remembered that Claire had previously logged into her tablet. She immediately used the device to locate Claire's phone. Surprisingly, the phone's location appeared at Lenape Park, 94 kilometers away. Without hesitation, Kate drove there to find her daughter. Upon arriving, she was shocked to see Ryan alive and happily living together with Claire. Now that the issue with the missing drugs was resolved, they no longer needed to worry about Jackie's threats. Kate chased after Claire, demanding an explanation. She questioned whose body she had disposed of. Ryan quickly exited the car, knocked Kate to the ground, and sped away with Claire. Kate returned home devastated and checked Claire and Ryan's chat history on her tablet. She discovered their entire plan, including Claire proudly boasting how easily she could manipulate her mother. Hurt and disappointed, Kate deleted the chat messages. She then rented a boat and returned to Marsh Creek Lake. However, finding the body in such deep waters filled with dense vegetation proved extremely difficult. Soon the police arrived to question her, The girl at the boat rental had become worried when Kate didn't return on time. Kate lied to the police saying she'd dropped her wedding ring into the lake and foolishly thought she could retrieve it. The officer believed Kate's explanation and comforted her by saying losing a ring wasn't important since she still had her marriage. After dealing with the police, Kate continued searching underwater until darkness fell. Exhausted, she returned home feeling completely overwhelmed. These recent, unbearable events intensified her longing for her deceased partner, Patty. The only person who had ever truly loved her was gone. Even her daughter had treated her like a fool. In desperation, Kate reached out to Mary. After hearing what happened, Mary immediately rushed to the farm the following morning. She insisted Kate temporarily move to her place in Westfield to rest and recover. Only after regaining her strength would they find a way to fix this terrible mess. Being with Mary helped Kate temporarily forget her troubles, yet fate seemed determined to deny Kate peace. Late at night, her phone received a remote notification from the farm's security system. When Kate checked the live feed, she saw Jackie standing at her farm's entrance. Jackie demanded to speak with her about the body she'd dumped in Marsh Creek Lake. He ordered Kate to return to the farm by noon the next day, leaving her with no choice but to drive back immediately through the night. Jackie arrived promptly at the agreed time. He revealed the true identity of the corpse to Kate. Ryan had urgently needed money to repay debts, so he mixed fentanyl into his drugs. Unfortunately, a young boy overdosed and died after consuming the drugs. Ryan and Claire panicked and turned to Jackie for help. Jackie suggested faking Ryan's death as a way out. Claire immediately agreed, believing her mother's unconditional love would make the plan successful. Jackie initially mentioned it casually, but was surprised when Kate actually took the bait. Not only had she disposed of the body, but she'd also given Jackie money. Jackie sarcastically commented that Kate was truly the world's most devoted mother. Jackie's visit was intended to blackmail Kate for more money. Kate desperately explained she had nothing left, even struggling to afford basic living expenses. Jackie dismissed her claims, pointing out she owned acres of land in Chester County, horses, barns, and a house. Fed up, Kate decided to leave this awful situation immediately. However, Jackie moved faster, grabbing Kate and pinning her down. He confiscated her phone, computer, and car keys, preventing her from leaving the farm. Jackie then gave Kate just 2 days to come up with the money. Clearly, Jackie himself had run into trouble and planned to stay at the farm temporarily. He picked up a framed photograph and casually asked Kate about the woman pictured. Kate explained Patty had been thrown from a horse, startled by a tractor, backfiring, tragically breaking her neck. Patty originally had several horseback riding students, but Jackie canceled all their appointments. He sat arrogantly on the couch, watching sports as if he owned the place. That evening, Claire texted Kate repeatedly, expressing thanks along with meaningless apologies. She urged Kate to forget about her and pretend she was dead. Finally, Claire sent Kate the corpse's name, Greg. Kate quickly searched Greg's social media profile and discovered he was a young man with many friends and a kind-looking mother. Overwhelmed by guilt, Kate recalled Claire mentioning that corpses tend to float to the surface, especially during hot weather. The bacteria inside a human's digestive tract creates gases, causing bodies to rise. Unable to resist, Kate searched online about the depth of Marsh Creek Lake. Just then, Mary called urgently, asking what happened, causing Kate to suddenly leave her home. Instead of answering directly, Kate asked Mary if she remembered old Mr. Granderson, whom they'd discussed earlier. Granderson owned a beautiful farm, which had recently burned down in a suspicious fire. When the early morning hour arrived, Jackie got ready to leave, but he stayed to watch Kate ignite the fire before departing. Kate lit the road flare and set the hay ablaze. Satisfied, Jackie drove away quickly. Flames rapidly engulfed the barn, accompanied by anguished whinnies from the horses torturing Kate's fragile nerves. Within a few hours, the barn was reduced to smoldering ruins. Firefighters arriving on the scene found only blackened remains. Soon afterward, a police officer approached Kate holding an evidence bag. He informed her that firefighters had found a steel bracket commonly used in road flares, suggesting the fire had been deliberately set. Kate told the officer someone had been staying in the apartment above the barn. When asked for details, she identified the farm worker as Jackie Rosen. Kate claimed she'd last seen Jackie's car parked outside around 10 the previous night. Upon discovering the fire, she tried calling Jackie to inform him, but received no response. With a serious expression, the officer then informed Kate that a charred corpse had been discovered inside the burned barn. Kate covered her mouth, appearing deeply shocked. She asked whether Jackie had perished in the fire. The officer replied the body was too severely burned to immediately identify. They'd have to send it to the medical examiner for confirmation. Meanwhile, Kate needed to come down to the police station to provide a full statement. The police acted quickly and soon found Jackie. But Jackie claimed he didn't know Kate at all and had never worked at the farm. The detective questioned Kate about how she'd come to know Jackie. Kate calmly explained Jackie was her daughter Claire's friend. When she heard Jackie was looking for work, she hired him temporarily to help at the farm. The detective then asked if any clients could verify having seen Jackie there. Kate truthfully admitted the farm had suspended classes several months ago due to her partner's recent death. However, a client named Emma had briefly met Jackie when she came by to pick up saddle pads. Kate offered Emma's contact information to the detective. The detective accepted it and continued asking if Kate had noticed anyone else associated with Jackie. After carefully thinking, Kate recalled someone named Greg or Gregory who had visited Jackie at the farm. The detective immediately showed Jackie a photo of Greg, but Jackie adamantly denied knowing him. However, the medical examiner soon confirmed through dental records the body found in the barn was indeed Greg's. Upon hearing this, Jackie quickly attempted to distance himself. He once again insisted he'd never worked at the farm. The detective interrupted Jackie's denial by pointing out bank statements and client testimonies proving he had indeed been employed there. Jackie suddenly panicked, realizing he'd fallen into Kate's trap. The events then flashed back to the night Kate stayed at Mary's home. At that time, Kate had revealed a plan to her friend. Earlier during her search at Marsh Creek Lake, she'd successfully located the corpse's exact position underwater. She'd noticed a distinctive graffiti mark on the rock tied to the body, clearly marking its location. So the night before burning down the barn, Kate and Mary retrieved Greg's body from the lake. After Jackie left the scene of the barn fire, Kate deliberately dropped the steel bracket from the road flare. Then she and Mary carried Greg's frozen body from the freezer and placed it in the upstairs apartment above the barn. Before the fire spread further, Kate freed all the horses and escaped safely with Mary. Step by step, Kate had carefully framed Jackie. Returning to the present, Jackie desperately tried clearing his name. He omitted any mention of blackmail and told the detective everything he knew about the situation. Yet the detective didn't believe a word. Surveillance footage from a gas station 2 kilometers from the farm clearly showed Jackie buying road flares. Additionally, the police easily discovered Greg was well known locally as a drug user supplied by Jackie. No matter how Jackie argued, he couldn't convince the detective of his innocence. After Kate successfully left the police station, she finally broke down in tears. Back home, standing before the burned remains of the barn, she slowly gathered her courage and began reconstruction. Her neighbor reassured Kate that if things went smoothly, the roof repairs could be completed before winter. Kate decided to reopen the horse riding classes, forcing herself to gradually become stronger. Late one night, the dog's barking woke Kate again. Through tearful eyes, she saw Claire standing once more at her doorstep. Would Kate forgive this troublesome daughter yet again? The film ends with an open-ended conclusion. The film starred Brienne Moore alongside Sydney Sweeney. Both actresses delivered compelling performances and striking visuals. Setting aside the intricacies of the plot and possible logical flaws, Brienne Moore effortlessly radiated a subtle melancholy and mysterious charm simply by appearing on screen. Watching her act, viewers couldn't help but marvel at how some people were truly born to be actors. As for Sydney Sweeney, though famous primarily for her attractive figure and sweet face, her exceptional acting talent has been evident since her role in Euphoria. In this film, she portrayed the spoiled daughter character vividly and convincingly. Her performance genuinely made viewers feel repulsed. Overall, this film could be described as a cautionary tale on family and parental anxiety. 4 stars awarded entirely to these 2 outstanding actresses. Kate stands silently amid the charred ruins of her barn, watching the smoke rise slowly into the dawn sky. The fire has erased all traces of the nightmare, yet the haunting echoes remain. She hears footsteps approaching and turns to see Claire standing in the shadows, her eyes filled with tears, silently pleading for forgiveness. Kate says nothing, her gaze heavy with both heartbreak and exhaustion. Can she truly forgive the daughter who nearly destroyed her? Will the cycle of betrayal finally end, or is this just another chapter in their unending nightmare? As mother and daughter stand facing each other, the morning sun begins to rise, leaving their future uncertain.